Hi, welcome to the next edition of Watching the Standard Meta. Now, this is the first real week that we have gotten since the bannings. We have a full kind of understanding what the meta looks like and shifting it from here. So we'll see if this actually is a problem or not. But at this current moment, I would already say that there's already a deck that is tier 0. And we're going to dive right into that deck list first. Besides that, I have additional 4 decks to talk about that are spicy in adjunction to it, but there seems to be a deck that's already putting up the most results, period. And it's already looking like that card should have been banned too, and I thought it was kind of weird that they didn't ban the card. So we're going to dive right in. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section. If you like the series, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. We're on our way to 1,000 subs. Let's get there together. Join the ACG channel, and let's dive right in. Demir stays around 18%. It's still probably slightly inflated from the previous week, getting the rug pulled out from many different decks. Golgari Roots is already kind of showing up a little bit. It's really kind of Jund for the most part. I've seen like most of them are 3-colored, like a splash of a third. Then we have this Is It Cauldron deck that's just showing up everywhere. And I mean everywhere. I was looking at all the list. And all I kept saying is it Cauldron? Is it Cauldron? Is it Cauldron? I was like, man. Then Controls on the dip a little bit. Delirium. Also, a little bit of increase. It's a pretty decent deck in general. Demons on the dip. Golgari on the dip. Tokens as I guess it's probably in an okay spot. People are starting to play a little bit of Orzhov, featuring Katramos, I believe that's what. Yeah, I think that's correct. Then we have Oculus making Resurgence because it's the only real graveyard deck besides, I guess, Cauldron now is, and so is Roots. So look out. Oculus might not be very good that long. But this is basically Bogles, I believe, tokens, Azorius artifacts, and then prowess. So we have a lot of mix and match here, and then we have a lot of congestion at the top here. With Is It Cauldron just taking this format by storm, at least in regards to MTGO, right? It's not reflecting of Arena, but I imagine Arena is probably going to start skyrocketing with the numbers of how often you see this deck. And definitely, I mean, the best card in the format dodged the ban. So there's that. And let's dive right into the deck. So here's the deck. It's kind of spicy a little bit because it does play Mako and FOMO, and it plays a little bit of Light Shatter and Thrill Seeker to combo with your Cauldron. But of course, VV's right here. Absolutely the best card from the set. It's also just absolutely probably the best card in the format. And then you have Stories over here. Profs. Pretty good way of pumping your VV. Get it going. Add tons of mana. Torch. Even the Flood Maul and a little bit of card draw right here. The only thing this deck is really missing, I would say, per se, is a great card draw engine like Treasure Cruise that you would have in Pioneer. But Stories is a okay supplement for that. Sideboard, we have a little bit of Fire Magic for a little bit of Sweeper. The Gates for counter magic. Barrage has a nice way, I guess, hit opponent's VV. That's no, yeah, because it's blue. Maybe some other small stuff that have a little bit of significance, but VV is probably the best hit. Then again, they just kind of Agatha's Cauldron in it, and then everything gets the mana ability. What are you gonna do? Spell Pierce, Unable to Scream, some torches in case we really wanted to exile something. Engineer is a nice little sub thing we put under this Cauldron. Give our stuff haste. Pyroclasm for another sweeper with fire magic. Curiosity if we need a little bit of card draw, which we do have a decent amount of card draw with the profs, stories, and whatnot. And Light Shatter. Can easily discard cards we don't want, like Thrill Seeker, so that way we could put under the Cauldron. And Row as an alternative win con if they bring a lot of graveyard hate. And or a grindy matchup, you kind of just want something like that. This deck, like I said, is all over the place. I couldn't find that many other decks, but like I said, I do have 4, right? Which is, I guess, a decent number. Unlike the Pioneer one, which I only have 2. That's just because the lack of results from Pioneer. And so, yeah. But overall, this is a pretty stock. Like I said, I've seen the leagues just filled 5-0's output with the same deck all over the place. Um, just to reiterate this, let's look at this actual thing. So cauldrons, cauldrons. They're all over the place. So what are they gonna do? Let's get into the next deck. So next is this Selesnya ramp. It doesn't really play like the top end, like with the overlords. Those kind of, I guess, falling out. But we do play Gearhulk. We do play Green Shell. We play Fungus. We play a little bit of Lookout for a little bit the ramp to go to 3 to 5, which 5 is probably our best line. We probably want to go Lookout into Green Shell, and Green Shell really sets up Beza and stuff like that, making them just better. Smuggler's Surprise to get our Crater Hoof down, to get a lot of aggressive damage. We have Splunking, make sure our lands come and play untapped. We have Sniper for a little bit of against aggro, and also another deck we're going to talk about a little bit next, probably. Actually, yeah. It does have Reach, which is a nice little sneaky Reach. Surprise in case we want to face Control. You kind of want to cast your stuff at instant speed on your opponent's instep, and then you could slam a big body after. Smite for aggro. Destroy Evil for enchantment hate. Plus big stuff hate like Shieldred. Rest in Peace for graveyard hate. This is also a little bit of graveyard hate plus artifact and enchantment hate. Might really good against the Cauldron deck. Ghost Vacuum also pretty good against the Cauldron deck. Day of Judgment for aggro. And that is Selesnya ramp for standard. Let's get into the next deck. So next is this very weird bird deck that got a 5-0. Healer Hawk making a resurgence. So this is definitely an identifier that birds are just good. If you have your worst card in your deck as Healer's Hawk, you're doing okay. We have Guidewing. Then again, they play more copies of Healer's Hawk than Guidewing. Vigilance, I guess, maybe a little bit worse than Lifelink. I don't know. Then we have this one to help bounce something. Have a little bit of landfall. We have the Escort to protect our stuff. Kind of like a the Spirit. Shatter. Geist. We have a Chocobo. Nice little landfall that gets big. Mockingbird to copy the Chocobo, so you can have as many Chocobos as you possibly can, which is kind of I would think the goal of the deck. At least that would be my goal of the deck, because you have another Choco here. There's another Chocobo. We have another Chocobo here, and then I think he's riding a Chocobo. So and then this one here also makes Chocobos. So like it's a Chocobo tribal. So this essentially is another Chocobo. So it's kind of nice. We're playing 4 copies of the new Bant 4-drop and the Traveling. This card is pretty cheap. Affinity for birds. Should easily just be a green for a 4/3, which is not terrible. Then we have Ghost Vacuum for the Cauldron matchup. Fat Chocobo, I guess is okay. Denial for control. Even Interrupter for control / for tempo advantages if they have sweepers. Not real sure what this card does. It's a human pilot. Interesting. And of course, we have another one of these down here that basically makes a 4/4 and a 2/2 as landfall. And let's go ahead and get into the next deck. So next is this Hellraiser deck, which was very spicy. Helltime Explosion for a little bit of sweeper. Spell Pierce to make sure that when we play Hellraiser, we can do our thing. Grinder for a little bit of a discard looting effect. Season of Weaving to use with Hellraiser to make, I think, a token. And then you basically make another one. Kind of go a little bit of a combo. Fires of Victory. Nice removal spell. Bitter Reunion to make sure that your Hellraisers have haste. Dragon Storm, because these are dragons. Unsummon. I guess you could bounce your own Hellraiser. That's pretty, I guess, okay. It is playing a one copy of Flame Shaper Chandra, a Braid, and an Elder Dragon. Jace, in case we faced, I don't even know what anymore, Control. I mean, it used to be a great card against specifically Domain Ramp, but that's kind of gone because of the Beanstalk has been banned. Virtue of Knowledge, it has a little bit of a counter effect plus doubles effects, so it should be able to double up your Hellraiser. End for a little bit of sweeper, negate against control. Change the equation for red, shark for red basically, ghost vacuum, soul guy lantern for graveyard heat, fresh start. I'm not really sure what fresh start does. It looks like it's some sort of counter. Barrage, solid way of answering, like I said, the cauldron stuff. Sadly, we don't really have. I guess we do have one braid main. I guess we do have Brother's Hood End to answer multiple artifacts like cauldron. So that is something. So this is basically you're always going to destroy three drop artifacts plus a braid. I kind of think we should have more. I think of braids. I think cauldrons is going to just be too good of a deck and get a lot of whiffs in that matchup, to be honest with you. But we have one more deck to talk about. That is 5-color Legends. Got a 5-0. Courtyard for, I guess, humans for the most part. Plaza of Heroes, Starting Town, Cavern. Yeah, definitely humans. Yeah, most part humans. So that's pretty good. They all share a creature type. We have some Surox in case we could protect our stuff by getting card draw. A Counterspell and Urtai. A Helena and Elena. Nice way to pump our guys. Tessa, I guess, is reasonable. Thalia is a human 4-drop legendary. We have Joda, which is pretty sweet here. Jill. I haven't really seen this card before. But I think this is okay, a little bit of a bounce. We have a Shelter by Ghost for a little bit of removal. Alicia to get back our Jernina or a Hajar, which is really nice to protect our stuff. Weirdly, we won't play one Hajar, which is kind of weird since it really does work quite well with Alicia. Then we have some Kellens, some Lightnings, some Skrells, some Enties, some Kellens, and some Seals. Get Lost for a little bit of removal for enchantments, planeswalkers, and stuff like that. Peacekeeper, a little bit of tempo play to get the Wrath, push it off. Voice of Victory to stop removal at our turn. Loren for artifact enchantment hate. Get Day of Judgment for aggro hate. Urtai, more counter spells. Can't really complain in certain matchups. Kambal as a if your opponent makes a lot of tokens, we get to make tokens ourselves, which is kind of sweet. That really, I guess, works well with not really Voice of Victory, but it's still a reasonable card, I guess, against the mono white tokens deck, which is showing up a little bit right now. And as we showcase, it is getting a little bit of traction and play rate, so it does help in that matchup. But that is 5-color humans. This card is about ready to rotate, I believe, so this is going to take a hit. Same with Hajar is going to take a hit. So is the General, Skrelv. So this deck does take a hit. Like Urtai, I think, also rotates. But let me know which one of these decks is your favorite. What do you guys think about the current standard meta? Do you guys like it? Is there a problem going on with Vivi, which I think was probably a card they didn't really want to ban because it just came out in Final Fantasy, but it's already just shaking up standard to a pretty unreasonable degree. I don't think it's going to be very long before people are tired of the card because they're probably seeing it all over the place. But let me know in the comment section what you want me to know. I'll talk to you guys next time.